Welcome to the Power Foods Lifestyle Podcast. I'm Kristy Jo, a certified fitness nutrition specialist, personal trainer, and weight loss specialist. I created the Power Foods Lifestyle back in 2012 as I transitioned from binge eater to fitness competitor, and I needed to systematize and strategize my nutrition and mindset approach to reach my goals. Nothing else out there was working for me until the PFL illuminated my mind. My hope is that you too can become a strategist of your own health using the principles and strategies I share. Head over to powerfoodslifestyle.com to learn more. Today in episode 249, we are continuing on with part 2 of low carb, why you should consider doing it for 6 weeks. In our last episode, we read the first half of chapter 1 of my newest book, Low Carb for the Busy, Tired, Aching, and Overwhelmed. Today, we will be continuing onward. Why carbohydrates matter. Before I begin a brief science lesson, I would like you to be aware of where carbohydrates generally come from. In the book, I include a table here where I've included some basic categories of foods that are known to have carbs in them. I've included a few common foods with their macronutrient breakdown. Notice the amount of carbs in a serving of each item and how the grams of carbs go lower the further down the chart we get. While this isn't visual for you, hopefully you'll be able to see some connection in this audio version. Let's start at the top. Sugary snacks. This is a very rarely eat category for carbs in your low carb lifestyle. Chocolate chip cookie, small, has 36 grams of carbs. Starburst candies, 8 of them, has 34 grams of carbs. 1 cup of Cinnamon Toast Crunch cereal has 32 grams of carbs. Sugary drinks. This is a very rarely eat category for carbs in your low carb lifestyle. Chocolate milk, 1 cup, has 26 grams of carbs. 1 cup of orange juice, 26 grams of carbs. 1 cup of apple juice, 28 grams of carbs. Grains. This is a very rarely eat category for carbs in your low carb lifestyle. 2 slices of whole grain bread have 34 grams of carbs. Half of an original bagel has 37 grams of carbs. 1 cup of cooked penny pasta is 22 grams of carbs. Starchy vegetables. This is an occasionally eat category for carbs in your low carb lifestyle. 4 ounces of sweet potato, 24 grams of carbs. 4 ounces of red potato, 19 grams of carbs. 4 ounces of butternut squash, 14 grams of carbs. Sweet fruits. This is an occasionally eat category for carbs in your low carb lifestyle. Half a cup of pineapple, 11 grams of carbs. Half a medium banana, 14 grams of carbs. Half a cup of mango, 12 grams of carbs. Berries. This is a sometimes eat category for carbs in your low carb lifestyle. Half a cup of strawberries, 8 grams of carbs. Half a cup of blueberries, 11 grams of carbs. Half a cup of raspberries, 7 grams of carbs. Cruciferous vegetables. This is a daily eat category for veggies in your low carb lifestyle. 1 cup of broccoli, 6 grams of carbs. 1 cup of cauliflower, 5 grams of carbs. 1 cup of Brussels sprouts, 7 grams of carbs. Leafy greens. This is a daily eat category for vegetables in your low carb lifestyle. 1 cup of spinach, 1 gram of carb. 1 cup of arugula, 1 gram of carb. 1 cup of chard, 1 gram of carb. While there are differing types of sugar, like lactose that comes from dairy products and fructose that's in your fruits, the body breaks down and converts most carbohydrates into glucose. For the sake of simplicity, we will refer to all sugars as carbs in this instruction book. Carbohydrates that start out as glucose begin digesting the moment they enter your mouth with the enzyme amylase in your saliva. A healthy body functions to utilize those sugars in different ways. While these conversations can become very complex, I like to keep things simple, so let's break down their role into 3 parts. Number 1, fuel the brain. Number 2, fuel the muscles. Number 3, storage for lack of glucose. Glucose fuels the brain with energy, as well as the muscles with energy. If that energy is needed right away, sugar is pulled into the cells by way of the hormone insulin, and then the glucose is readily available. This is what happens in the case of the person who just went jogging, then refueled with some carbohydrate food or drink for more energy, or the mom who was running errands all day, felt a blood sugar drop resulting in weakness, shakiness, and a headache, then ate some carbs to regulate that blood sugar. This is a common mechanism of eating and often happens without us thinking much about it other than, I need some food because I feel weak. In a healthy individual, insulin is secreted from the pancreas to get the glucose out of the blood and into the cells to be used. If there is any extra sugar that is not actively needed by the brain or muscles, it is stored in the muscle sites and liver until they are full. Glucose is stored in the form of glycogen, where the glucose is strung together into a long chain until it is needed by the body in a future shortage of sugar. If that happens, another hormone, glucagon, begins the breakdown of glycogen to get sugar back into the blood for the cells to utilize and shuttle energy to the muscles and brain. The liver and muscle sites have been found to hold an average of 500 grams of glucose. Did you know this about sugar in the scale? It takes water to store glucose as glycogen. This is one reason why you should not be overly alarmed at a rise in scale weight if you have eaten more carbohydrates within 24 hours before weighing. Depending on how much carbohydrate you currently had in storage and the amount you just ate, assuming a healthily functioning insulin response, you probably didn't gain body fat. Your glucose reserves are simply holding that extra sugar with water as glycogen. This simple fact has helped many of my clients who are very aware of their weight to step away from emotional tailspins that happen when trying to eat better, but yet they don't see a drop in their weight right away. Your body can fluctuate 5 to 8 pounds just based on carbohydrate storage and water intake alone. While my goal in this instruction book is not to get too much into shifting body composition, weight loss may absolutely occur when shifting to a low-carb nutrition strategy. Unfortunately, insulin resistance is becoming a very common condition in America. Due to poor eating habits with large amounts of consumption of refined, processed foods with added sugars, many Americans experience an impaired sensitivity of the cells to insulin. Therefore, they do not allow glucose into the cells to be used for energy. Instead, glucose is shuttled away to be stored as fat because that sugar must do something. Insulin is a storage hormone, so if the cells do not take the sugar away, insulin will do its job and pack it away, usually in our stomach, hips, inner thighs, and buttocks. I'm not writing this book to discuss how insulin resistance occurs, but rather what to do if you notice you have this condition along with any of the others I've listed above. You may be wondering how your brain and muscles can function if you don't have a full supply of carbohydrate. Your body was designed to handle this situation beautifully, which is why PFL low carb is a nutrition strategy we can use to our benefit for certain demographics. In a shortage of incoming glucose, the liver calls upon another metabolic pathway by producing a secondary fuel called ketones. These ketones cross the blood-brain barrier and make up for the deficient glucose. In our PFL low-carb method of eating, you will still be getting some glucose, not pushing that glucose extremely low like a keto diet, but you will also not be getting an abundant amount. Refer back to our very low-carb and low-carb examples earlier in part 1. As for exercise, a slower yet more efficient method of fueling the muscles than burning glucose is by breaking down adipose tissue for fatty acids. Fatty acids provide steady energy to the muscles for most exercise that stays in an aerobic state. An aerobic state means you are not pushing to extremely high heart rates, keeping to 60 to 75% of your maximum heart rate. Higher heart rates than this are best fueled by carbohydrate. As you can see, the body has simple methods of compensating when glucose is in lower supply. Your brain and muscles will not suffer, but will adapt to the different methods of being fueled. This adaptation process can take anywhere from 3 to 14 days, but once your body adjusts, you should feel vibrant and sustained in your energy. Again, I'm not teaching you a keto diet. Keto's primary goal is to help your body function 100% off ketones for energy rather than glucose by getting the carbs low enough for a very low carb strategy. While a low carb eating approach will generate ketones to supplement incoming glucose, the goal is not to switch to a fat-fueled environment only. This instruction book is for a low carb strategy. If you wish to learn a keto strategy and feel it is the next step for you after trying the low-carb approach from the Power Foods Lifestyle, head over to powerfoodslifestyle.com to see if the PFL Keto course is available. Inflammation. The food you eat influences the makeup of the billions of gut microbes that comprise your microbiome. The microbiome composition has been found in recent research to be responsible for many of the health conditions we individually experience, including mental health disorders. Your microbiome composition is constantly changing due to the foods and beverages you ingest, environmental toxins, pollution, topical toxins, and anything else that goes into or onto your body. Carbohydrates, particularly those in the grains and refined sugars category I call non-strategic carbs, have been found to encourage the growth of inflammatory gut bacteria. Because of the interaction of the gut and immune system which lines the gut, the state of the microbiome is critical for how the immune system's defense functions. If your body has more inflammatory gut bacteria, you will experience more pain in your body. Inflammation is the body's immune response to toxins in the body as it works to purify itself. The more toxins enter your body, the more biochemical responses engage. Inflammation often manifests as pain or aggravation or a host of possible health symptoms. The fewer toxins you put in your body, the less inflammation you experience. A lowered inflammatory response may also help with side effects that frequently occur from taking medications. Simply stated, when you eat healthy power foods with minimal sugar, grains, or processing, you feed your gut bacteria and help it grow stronger and more productive. This healthy microbiome interacts less frequently with the immune system because there are fewer toxins present, at least in the foods and beverages you ingest. This lower frequency interaction leads to less inflammation, resulting in less exaggeration of pain, symptoms of other health conditions, and feeling yucky all the way around. Weight loss may be a helpful part of your pain management plan. To lose weight, I recommend tracking your calories and total grams of carbohydrates to ensure you are in a caloric deficit. That is the simple biomechanics of energy balance. When you eat less than you burn, you will lose weight. In addition to the caloric deficit, managing your total carbohydrate intake will help reduce the inflammation in your body. However, you do not need to track calories to get wonderful results. As you listen to your body to be mindful and aware of hunger and fullness cues, you may be able to put yourself in a caloric deficit without meticulously tracking. As you choose your meals, mind the PVF strategy I will outline soon in this book. The general hypothesis around why you can easily lose weight while on a low-carb strategy is this: more focus on eating fat and protein increases your satisfaction after a meal. The focus on these two macronutrient groups additionally produces less vacillation of blood sugar, which leads to a greater frequency of being in a fat burn zone. I explain this in detail in my book, The Power of Foods Lifestyle, Edition 2. There is also a theory that eating more protein and fat and fewer carbohydrates in a day leads to an increase in thermogenesis, which is the utilization of fat for energy, with approximately 200 to 300 more calories burned naturally per day as compared to a moderate to high carb intake diet. This theory remains controversial, but is interesting to note. Soon enough, you will be able to see for yourself if you can feel a difference in your body without being part of a study group. As you learn the how-tos of minimizing the carbs you eat and focusing on intentional eating using proteins, P, vegetables, V, and fats, F, you will be able to experiment for yourself and learn of the benefits through experience. Give the PFL low-carb strategy a solid 2 to 6 weeks of effort with no expectations. You may not feel a difference overnight. It's going to take time for your body to adapt. But trust me, the time will come that you do feel a difference. So keep going. Look forward to your body's manifestations that you are doing something wonderful for it. I'm so excited for you to enjoy the benefits of the PFL low-carb strategy. If you like what you've heard and you're interested in learning more, head over to powerfoodslifestyle.com to grab a copy of my newest book, which is the Education and How-To Manual from Grocery Shopping and Meal Prep to the Science of Inflammation and Keeping Your Mindset Straight. There, you can also grab my brand new low-carb digital recipe book, which has 11 breakfasts, 27 lunches and dinners, and 13 snacks and shakes that I personally created in my own kitchen this past summer to share with you. My favorite part? In each recipe, I included a tip of how to add a side of carbs for the rest of the family. That's the number one thing I've heard from women who learn Power Foods Lifestyle is they're like, it's great, but the practicality of trying to make 2 different dinners is really tough. So you make the PVF, the low carb base, and then you add the side of carbs. And obviously you need to practice the discipline to not eat those carbs, but to make that available to the family without making 2 totally different meals. It's awesome, and you are going to love these recipes. Finally, you can grab my 6-week low carb program, which includes 6 weekly meal plans, shopping lists, recipes, and symptoms trackers. If you purchase 2 or more of these products before October 30th, I'm going to throw in a copy of my Power Foods Lifestyle Recipe Book Volume 1, which is a value of $9.99, absolutely free while supplies last. Again, this offer is only good through October 30th, 2020, and it's over at powerfoodslifestyle.com, and you can hover over the Power Foods Lifestyle button and click on low carb. That will navigate you to this order form where you can get these. The books will be shipping around November 10th. Thank you for your pre-orders, for your support, and most importantly, believing in yourself. I know it's tricky, it's tough. Our bodies, our health, it's really a challenging thing. But if there's one thing I know, it's that when you step up, you look yourself in the eyes and you say, I'm ready to do my best. I'm ready to step forward, even if it's a baby step. That is when you gain that self-trust, that self-esteem of knowing that you are standing up for yourself. And that will grow, that will lead to a bigger step and a bigger step and a bigger step. And before you know it, you will be doing things that you didn't know were possible a month ago or 3 months ago or even a year ago. But it all starts with that decision to try. I'd love to help. Head over to powerfoodslifestyle.com. Power your body, one meal, one workout, one day at a time.